Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's your boy Hood Mystic, representing hoodmystic.com, columbianexchange.com, and whiterabbitsite.com. Be sure to check out our 25% off sale that's ended on Monday. Just use the code 25 off on checkout, and this is only at whiterabbitsite.com, and this is only for orders that's over $50. Once again, the promo code is 25 off, and the website is whiterabbitsite.com. I'm about to go into my office space, but before I go into my office space, I figured that I would share what was on my mind and what was on my heart. And the title of this video is Post-Traumatic Sex Disease. And this is generally what happens if you are, one, conflating sex with love, and two, you've been in consistent relationships that were centered around sex and sexual attraction, and it ended up didn't working out the way that you wanted to. So you would go into another relationship, generally doing the same things, going about it the same way, and lo and behold, long term, it doesn't work out. Well, the reason for this thing that is happening is that, first of all, you cannot ever, for as long as you live, if you're 50 years old, if you're 20 years old, if you're 15 years old, no matter what age you are, do not ever think that sex is somehow related to love and or long-term relationships. Sex and relationships are two completely different topics. When you are trying to create a long-term relationship, there are three things that you need: a open, honest communication. If you have that, your relationship will be successful. If two people are open, honest, and communicating, then that's a successful relationship. Never once did I say to have a successful relationship, you have to have amazing sex. See, amazing sex means different things to different people at different times. The reason for this is that sex is a perishable event. What do I mean by a perishable event? No matter how good the sex is, if you have the most amazing sexual partner that you ever had in your life, and they giving you the greatest sex that you've ever experienced in your life, it doesn't reverberate for a long time. You would, like, if you have milk, you can't have that milk in your refrigerator for an exponential amount of time. It eventually spoils because it's perishable. The same thing goes for sex. So in order to generate the positive relationship, the positive feelings and emotions around sex, you would have to have sex consistently. Well, you cannot have amazing sex consistently without the three important things to a successful relationship: open, honest communication. And not just one person. It takes two people to be open, honest, and communicative. And if you got the greatest man in the world that's paying all of the bills, but he's not open, he's not honest, he's not communicating with you, it's not going to feel right in your soul space, in your heart space, and just your overall well-being. Same goes for the greatest girl ever. If she out here running the streets when she feel like running the streets, you not going to feel good about it as a man, regardless if she's a great person. So relationships require a lot of work, a lot of fine tuning, a lot of understanding in reference to exactly who this person is and exactly who you are and how well do you work together. You will never figure out how you work well with a person if y'all having sex, not long term. And trying to make a situation work based upon the fact that y'all having good sex, that's like trying to reverse engineer a successful relationship. I don't know how I did that, but I tried to keep my screens and keep blacking out. But anyways, so when we're in these particular relationships and we're having sex with people, but we're not really establishing a strong foundation of where the relationship is going, what is going to happen is that the relationship is going to fail. And because you had sex with this person, the body, which is an ancient organism that doesn't really respond to the recent ideologies for which it have been programmed with, such as B's ain't S but H's and tricks, right? N words ain't S words, right? Having sex with casual sex, the body being a biological, spiritual, technological device, because you think that you can operate in such a fashion, your body is not registering it as what you think it is. Because say, for instance, you was walking down the street and a man just jumped out the wilderness, grabbed you up, and had his way with you. Well, you would call that the R word. Now, say, for instance, you at the club and you meet a nice looking guy, and now instead of it being forced upon you, it's casual. Well, the body still responds to it as the R word. So regardless of what you're thinking up here, sex is good, I like having sex with this guy, I got different niggas over here, I got baby daddies, the body is like traumatized. The body is traumatized because the body biologically wants one partner. The body wants that. Why do I say that? Because when you have sex with one partner, guess what your body does? It molds itself to that partner. When you have multiple partners, then that process is disrupted. And I'm not saying right or wrong, good or bad, I'm just speaking scientifics in reference to when you get 28 years old, 29 years old, and the last thing you're thinking about is actually being with a guy. Because dudes have hurt you so much and so bad. You know why? Because your body is telling you these men are bad. But then you still on Tinder. You still on Bumble. You still on Plenty of Fish. What I'm saying is no judgment, no shade, but you still entertain the thought of having a successful long-term relationship with the man. And I feel like, or having a successful long-term relationship with the woman, however you get your rocks off. All I'm saying is, if you don't understand that it is trauma for which you are trying to heal from, then you will create the same energy and the same patterns regardless if you meet a good guy or a good girl, because it is you that are not looking at this person as an individual. It is you that are looking at your mental and your emotions. And irregardless of what new person enters in your life, they are not the contributor to your emotional patterns and your mental patterns. And because it's so deep, and because it's so integrated, and because it's so accepted and normalized, nobody thinks to heal or get help. It's a normalized thing to think that you can just date a man without healing the past, or date a woman without healing the mind, healing the heart. Like really doing it though. That's not true. Demons do not attract other demons, because what tends to happen is that you might generalize and say, well, everybody make mistakes, or everybody is fucked up, or everybody got demons. That's not true. This is what you're experiencing, for which you will project on the new relationship, for which you have to get in tune with your biology. When we deal with the sacral chakra, you can Google sacral Mars. When we deal with that, it's easy to say sex is just a normal response to just life. Like, we just gonna do it, and it's just blah, 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 wazza, 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 like, no. Think about if you was able to communicate even before you get into a relationship, be able to communicate, because what would tend to happen is that you will pull out the vibrator and you will masturbate, or you will cut on the porn and you will masturbate. What if you had a conversation in reference to the energy that you was experiencing? That energy is so powerful and so strong and so different, and it's so transformative. But there is no conversation in reference to exactly what it is and exactly how to deal with it. And if you were to having that conversation with yourself, like talking through your horniness, talking through your demonic possession, you don't know, even if you was to think like demons attract other demons or like attract like, you don't know what that person is healing or coming through. Say, for instance, you meet a person, and at one point y'all was doing bad, but then at another level, that person have grew and developed and became something better, different. But you like, well, I know you when you was back then, when you was, sucking dick at the truck stop. I remember back then. I remember you back then, so that's who you truly are. This is also a projection. The reason why you might think that like attracts like and demons attract demons is because you can't never see nothing but yourself. This is a hard pill to swallow, but niggas ain't shit just means that I'm not shit. Women ain't shit just means that I'm not shit. Women being broke just mean I'm broke. Dudes being broke just mean I'm broke. Women being ugly just mean I'm ugly. Men being ugly just mean I'm ugly. Dudes being wild and crazy and they don't got no guidance mean I'm wild and crazy and I don't got no guidance. That is so hard for an individual to come to grips with, and most people won't, because the only reason that you would even think to take accountability for your projections is because you're able to perceive the soul. That's not even a nigga's goal, because people's mind is literally projected out. Everything they want is somewhere in the external world. So in reference to having a want for internal balance and things of that nature, understanding your subconscious and conscious mind in relation to your chakras and balancing your hormones to make sure you're in your proper vibration, most people do not give a fuck. So because they don't give a fuck, everything that they are, they're going to see in you. So this brings us back to post-traumatic sex disease. How could you ever have a long-term relationship when you haven't figured out why the last relationship ended wrong? And it's only one reason that the relationship went wrong. No, it's not because they cheated. No, it's not because they ghosted you. It ain't none of that. No, it ain't because they found somebody else. No, it ain't because you was bored and unhappy with the relationship. No, it ain't because your wife filed a divorce. No, it ain't because, no, none of that is the reason why the relationship ended. Relationships end two ways. One, the partner has transitioned, or two, there is no open, honest communication. The reason why there's no open and honest communication, because within the relationship, it has become a dynamic for control. Meaning that I want a girl like this. I want a man like that. You must be that person that I want you to be. When in fact, relationships should be internal reflections and referencing to you becoming the best person that you want to be for your damn self and being there for that partner, not projecting what you want out of that partner. There is no open and honest communication. That is toxicity. There is no, so if I want to say something to you and I don't say it, I hold it in. If the body is 70% water, what contaminates the body? Be holding shit in, not being able to say what I want to say. It ain't toxicity is when you can't be yourself with a fucking stranger. What tends to happen, if ever you get into a relationship that is sexually based, then the mommy issues come. Then the daddy issues come, because you wasn't able to say what you needed to say to your mom and your dad. That's the first place of toxicity for everybody. If ever, it's either, if you had a mom and dad that said, all right, son, you can lead us, tell us what you need us to do. That was toxic. Or if you had a mom and dad that said, I'm going to be dogmatic and I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. And I'm going to act like your life is my life and I'm living vicariously through you. That's toxic too. So at a certain point, you want to tell your mom and dad, listen, shut the fuck up, or support me, or be like this. But you can't, because you don't have that dynamic. So once again, holding things in, adolescence, not having rites of passage, not having ceremonies that bring you into full womanhood, just kind of winging it out here, and then fucking, lo and behold, being horny, saying, all right, I'm gonna have sex with somebody. No game, no wisdom, no knowledge, just really doing this, fingers crossed. And we are taught that sex is relationships. We're taught that when you was a little girl, 16, 17, 18, 19, your first boyfriend, maybe y'all talked, maybe y'all kicked it, but it was more of y'all was fucking though. In high school and in college and all of that. So in life, we just think fucking relationships, sex, relationships. But if you ever get to a point where it ain't working, even if you marry, and the foundation of your relationship is sex and not open and honest communication, people get divorced. People break up. It's people with kids, businesses, all types of shit. Like, you know what? I ain't dealing with this shit no more. Because the whole shit is traumatic. The whole shit is disturbing. Because everybody try and control you and manipulate you and take advantage of you and not actually see you for who you are, because everybody is living in this conscious state of being where everything they think, everything they emotionalizing is the truth. Never once do people think, wait a second, I'm projecting my lack onto my partner, or vice versa. That person is projecting, so I'm not going to take it seriously. See, open, honest communication, it brings you into the level of unconditional love. You can't offer unconditional love if you hurt, if you triggered, if you dealing, like you really in a relationship and it's really like a low-key type of edge and you really trying to jockey for position. Is this person really feeling me? Do he like me? Bitch, you're 30 years old. If you can't know for a fact that it's some real shit pending on the relationship, you worried about if a nigga like you? You done gave him some pussy and now you hoping that, hopefully he call you back. Too old for that. You gotta have communication skills. But see, this is the catch. You might not even have the patience or the tolerance to even talk to a man because previous men done hurt you so much and so bad that now you actually look at men as despicable, as enemies, as like you hate them, you don't like them. The prospect of it just give you anxiety because you know for a fact he probably going to want to fuck, and after he fuck, he ain't going to deal with you. That's traumatic. And what's the recourse if you want to have a happy and healthy black family? You got to learn how to communicate. You got to learn how to love yourself and really in tune this sexual energy that is not always sexual. It's like 5% sexual, 95% spiritual, but you never give it a chance because when you do feel sexually motivated, it's so easy for you to find a nigga. The apps do not make it to whereas, niggas is making it. No, it's just easy. You got to think options bad. Sex is a weapon. All of these things where we think are like the real thing is just the first layer of it. It's a whole world that exists in the realms of spiritual communication and spiritual sight and spiritual healing. But I'm afraid that people never give it a chance because they too busy either being in a negative space or a horny space. And then it's like sex is not tangible. Sex is not permanent. Sex is not something that you could build upon. Sex is intangible. Sex is perishable. Sex is like trying to build a house in the middle of the ocean. Some of y'all be really literally ocean. So how you gonna build a house with an ocean? That don't even make sense. I find that it's a very hard thing to deal with because when it comes to certain things like a woman's sexual past, that's one area where a person not really open and honest and communicative about that. Because you can meet a new guy and be like, never say nothing about your past, and he's still going to want to have sex with you. But what I said, there's only 3 things that bring about a successful relationship: open and honest and communication. It's not saying what I want when I want to say it, saying the thing that make me look good, saying the thing that I think you want to hear, or not saying shit at all. That ain't what I said. I said open, honest communication, no closed doors. This is where the healing comes in at. It's not that men are insecure, it's that you haven't created the conversation about it because you didn't really even think of having a conversation about it. It was, you were doing it sneakily. You weren't doing it in full authenticity. Because the reality of it, men don't give a fuck. I'm telling you that men don't care. And I'm also telling you it only comes up when you really love a woman. And her dishonesty is the barrier to an open and honest communication. That's what I'm telling you. It ain't about a man being insecure. It is supernatural. It is phantom morgasmic. Phantom orgasmic. Where shit just happens. Shit just comes up. And you like, well, what is this? I don't know. I don't know either. Let's just act like nothing is happening. That's what happens. Because you are so pretty and you are so beautiful and everything is everything except the shit that you've done in the past. That's the missing link. Don't say that we're insecure as a reason to not be honest. One would say, don't act in a way for which you cannot be authentic in your expression. Do the thing for which you can talk about loudly and proudly, because that's energy. But the shit and this is why sex is traumatic. Because listen, I will tell you, every single girl that I can remember, what happened, why it happened, who it happened with, all of that. Because it's a good thing to me. Men think about sex as good. It ain't something to be shameful about. It ain't something to hide. If you actually think about it, it's hard for me to actually get a woman to even think about even having sex with me because I'm not as attractive as the next man. I'm overweight. And for her to think about having sex with me, that's kind of like an achievement for real. So I don't mind talking about it. On the other side, though, the truth of everything in reference to a conversation might have you looking at it a little differently, might have you moving a little differently. However, when you do not heal, you do not have a conversation in reference to what you are doing, you'll continuously do it. And then when the body gets into a relationship, the body is like, where's the randoms at? Where's our Tinder Fridays? Oh no, this ain't cool. I'm used to having a rotation. Now what you saying, brain? What are you talking about? We need to be in a relationship with one man. No, the fuck we don't. That ain't how it used to be. Matter of fact, snap a couple of fingers and now the energy weird. Everything is vibes, everything is emotions. Well, how you feeling today? Oh, I ain't feeling shit. If we had something tangible, if we had a communication base, you would be like, what you doing today? Oh, fulfilling these orders, putting out the marketing materials for our business. I just was down at the clerk of courts getting this certificate for our business. What you doing? We about to implement phase 2. Now, imagine a relationship like that. Imagine a relationship that's built on something mutual as opposed to feelings and vibes and emotions and how you make me feel and what I'm thinking about. Because in reference to when I start to thinking fucked up, now it's on you. When I ain't feeling the best way, now it's on you. That ain't relationships. That's goddamn prison. That's a means to an end. That's some crash dummies getting into a car and seeing how long it's going to take for them to crash out. I learned about open and honest communication in prison. I didn't know about this concept till I went to prison and I went to a recovery services class. And in that recovery service class, they told us the foundational keys to a successful relationship. And it's interesting when you take these certain type of classes like AA and recovery services and things of that, they really start teaching you shit. Like I had to take a class on being a father, all different types of shit. And it's a lot of shit that people don't actually sit and try to learn, like really try to learn how to have a successful relationship. No, but motherfuckers will be in a relationship and that bitch will be fucked up, or it be single and not even knowing left from the right. Like certain shit you can learn. Certain shit you can't just be like, well, I mean, it's easy for me to say, oh, women, they just don't like fat black dudes. Women don't like fat black dudes. So that means that's why I can't get nobody to like me. It's easy for me to say that. But that's me projecting. The reality is, it might be a weird kink or something that turn them on or have them thinking real weirdly when they see me or something. But man, it be popping out here in these streets. But that's beside the point. The point is, you can have any and everything that you want if you can get on a mutual page, on a mutual basis with somebody and have communications with somebody. And I go so far as to say, man, a person ain't never had that in their life. If you are if a person be like, well, what do you have to offer? I have to offer open and honest communication, and I'll listen to you, and I will make sure that we will come up with a mutual goal that we can both work towards over a period of time. And if the relationship don't work out, we have both accomplished something that was mutual. Or if it do work out, we can just do the shit again.